Alright guys, so welcome back to some more MX vs ATV All Out. Today we're going to go check out the new updated national tracks and see if it's an improvement over how they were originally. So, well, you should see a picture of it on screen here. Last week they posted this picture showing the highlighted areas on each track that were changed or improved. Some of these tracks had 8 or 9 changes to them, so let's go see if we can see the differences. Kind of going to do a slow lap and just see if it made it better, I guess. So yeah, let's jump into this, starting with Dove Point. Alright guys, so here we have Dove Point. This is the first track we're going to check out. Start Straight is right there. You can follow along with that picture if you want. I tried to, and I was getting a bit lost, so I can kind of show you some of the stuff here that's new. Some of the rest of it we're just going to have to try to remember how it was. I remember Dove Point being kind of a lackluster track. It wasn't terribly fun to play. This is new, and this is new right here. Maybe you could do a quad there. That's new. And then we turn around, do like a 180 and go back up. That is new too. It's like way rougher. The original national tracks were so smooth. This is new, I believe. What else? There's a little bit of a stretch here where they didn't adjust too much. I think some of this might be new. I mean, overall the track feels rougher. I mean, Dove Point was a really long, boring track to me. It was so, I didn't really like it. Now this is the same. I do remember this section. Or very, very, very similar. But they've added in jumps. Like, they've straight up added in entire jumps that maybe weren't there in the beginning. I don't really remember. I didn't play on this track very much. I don't remember this ginormous thing here. I do not remember this. Maybe it was there, but I don't remember it. And that is basically a lap. Even this feels a little bit different. I mean, I remember these little doubles kind of going up the hill, but finish line feels adjusted on. The scaling, like, it's bigger. It feels bigger. So that is Dove Point. There is definitely some very noticeable changes. I mean, even if we weren't trying to go in and find them or didn't see the picture they posted, I think if you play this track, you're going to know that, whoa, okay, this is a lot different than it was before. So this track is definitely improved over how it was before. So we're going to jump on over into Thunder Crest. Alright guys, so here we have Thunder Crest. Start Straight is right there. If you are following along, let me look at the picture. So we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 changes. No, back. Okay. So off the start, pretty much the first 3 sections here have been adjusted. Okay. I mean, this feels similar. It shows they've adjusted on this, and yes, they definitely adjusted on it. It didn't take away from the way it was before, and I never minded that section. Thunder Crest was okay. Like, look at how rough it is here. I remember it being a little bit rough, but I feel like it's been... What's the word I'm looking for? Oh, this is different. Just more noticeable, more pronounced. This is different too. I mean, I remember it being similar to this. A little bit steeper there. Don't really remember that double there. Or maybe it was something different. I remember this because I kind of do remember this track. I remember this is the track that we rode the 500 around when it first came out. So I'm just trying to go off of memory more than anything. You can follow along with that picture we showed you at the beginning if you really want. Little table there. That might be different. Another one. I don't really remember back-to-back tables. That feels different. I mean, there was only 5 changes on this track, though. So this is fairly similar. Over jump, so we can't get this. But maybe you could have doubled out to here. And then this one kind of turns away from you. Maybe that's stretched out a bit. And then the finish. So that track, I mean, I feel differences on that one, but I don't feel them as noticeable as Dove Point. I feel like Dove Point was improved a lot with the changes they made, and there was a bunch. Thunder Crest wasn't as bad of a track in the beginning, and I feel like, you know, I mentioned it a couple times, that there was a few sections that I could tell they changed, but it still kind of had its original feel to it, but it was just more improved. So overall, yes, Thunder Crest is better. The difference isn't as significant as it was with Dope Point. Clover Pass is the next track. The start is behind us. And let me check. Or 5. 5 changes to this track. Let's see if we can find them. One of them is right after this. I don't really remember Clover Pass. This is a change, I believe. We have a double. That is definitely different. I mean, some of these changes are like a lot. I felt like they were going to be like really small changes, nothing big. Some of these changes are really change these tracks. Where's the next one? Little wait. Whoops. Sorry, I'm looking at the picture. Don't think. I mean, I wish I had a mini map in the corner and I could compare it a bit easier. I'm getting lost a bit. Some of this has to be. I mean, this is way rougher. Way, way, way rougher. That sign said VP. Was it like that in the beginning? That sponsor sign? I don't remember that. Of course, now that I'm looking for new stuff, I think my brain is automatically... Ooh. Okay, so this is the same, but it still feels a little bit different. Like, maybe they just got, like, a small facelift or something. So I remember that section. I don't really remember this track that good. I remember this, so you could just jump off of it. So very, very similar there. I feel like maybe they took some off of that so you can't send it as hard. This is the same. I always do that. I always jump off the track. Yeah, I'm stuck. Okay. That is fairly similar. This track is... I mean, there's not a ton of differences on this one. Some, for sure, for the better. But still very similar. So overall, yes, you can see some changes, but... out of the 2 that we've already done, this is a little bit less noticeable. So definitely an improvement, but a lot closer to its original self than the other 2 were. Okay, so here we have Amber Ridge. Start is right there, and I believe there is 7 changes to this track. Now this was actually one of my more favorite ones in the game, out of the stock nationals. But I'm always open to seeing a change. Haven't seen too much of a difference. But there is 7 changes, but who knows? Maybe they're not like really, really big changes. I mean, maybe small, subtle ones, but... okay, that's different. That triple is different. This triple is different. It was like a double-double before. This, I don't know. I feel like that is smaller. It doesn't send you as high as it did before. Has more of a real feel to it. This is very similar. Again, I mean, there might be some really small, subtle changes, but this is different. That is different. That is definitely changed. And then this is the same. Or very, very, very similar. Overall, that track I didn't feel like had too many changes. I mean, they basically like swapped out where they were doubling for like a triple, and I'm fine with that. I feel like that just makes it a better flow. It feels better to have that. It feels like it has the least amount of changes out of all the tracks we've done so far. But that doesn't really bother me because this was one of my favorite tracks out of the stock nationals. So I'm okay with this track being the same, pretty much the same, and just having a few very small changes. So again, better than it was before, but very, very close to how it was originally. Falcon Hill is the next track we're going to check out. Start is right there. And I did do a lap. I mean, I feel like already the spacing on this is a bit different. I could be wrong. And the track is similar to Amber Ridge where it's really, really smooth. This feels different here. This is very similar, probably the same. This is very similar. Same with this. Actually, I feel like that's more of a double. I felt like before you were just kind of jumping down the hill. A lot of the changes here were centered around the corners. There was 7 of them, I believe. 7 changes. The corners have a better flow and they're more pronounced. Before it was like harder to tell where some of the corners were going. So I feel like they did adjust on that. Yeah, they definitely adjusted on that. Okay, this is similar. And then this is a rhythm section now. Oh, we came up short. So it would have been, and then we would triple out. And then this is very similar. So the biggest change, this is a really flat jump now. The biggest change for me is that rhythm section, that triple, I think it was a triple. That is definitely different. And the corners feel like they might have been opened up a little bit and they're more pronounced. You can see them. I know a lot of the changes here were around the corners. So overall, definitely improvement. But again, out of all the tracks that we've checked out so far, I feel like this track has the most subtle changes. They're not as pronounced or as significant, but definitely improvement. Those corners, sometimes I said that it was kind of hard to tell where you're going. That rhythm section in the back is better. Overall better, just feels like it has the least amount of major changes to it. Alright guys, so here we have Cedar Mesa. The start is behind us if you are following along. And this track had 8 changes to it. Really curious. This already is different. That feels, I don't remember that being a big step up kind of double. This is very, very similar, but I feel like it was adjusted a little bit. That feels different too. Oh yeah, that is definitely different. I think that entire section was kind of revised a bit. This feels pretty similar. Very similar. Yeah, this is kind of how it was. Almost feels like the track is wider. But it's been a long time since I played the stock nationals though. That is the same. Oh, that's different. That is different. Okay. Whoa, 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 whoa. Not sure if that's different or not. Maybe that was different. Like, maybe they added a few more jumps to it. And this, I think, it wasn't a triple. So that is different, too. So we probably saw about 8 changes. More noticeable than Falcon Hill. But still very, very, very subtle. I feel like all 3 of these tracks, Amber Ridge, Falcon Hill, and Cedar Mesa, were definitely adjusted on, but they were happy enough with them that they didn't feel like they needed a bunch of major changes to them, like Dove Point. So overall, definitely improvement, but again, more subtle. Next up is Stingray Shore, and it has 8 changes to it. Start straight is right there if you are following along. We're always going to start at the start straight. Now that might have been different right away. That double table. This feels very similar, maybe adjusted a tiny bit. Oh. This feels, I don't know if that's exactly the same, but even if it's similar, it feels different. Well, it feels new to me. I don't really remember that. This is very, 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 very similar. I think maybe that was changed a tiny bit. That might have been changed as well. Fix ourselves here. This is similar to, at first I was gonna say no, that feels new, but I think it's similar. All this feels pretty much the same. Track is very, very smooth. It doesn't feel as rough. Or yeah, it feels more similar to the middle 3 tracks we did. And then this is all the same. So I don't know. I didn't really notice too many changes there. But I don't know. I was always okay with this track. It wasn't that bad in my opinion, but as far as being different than it was before is probably the least noticeable. I said that last time, but this one's even less noticeable. I mean, this jump right here and then more or less it out of the major changes that I've seen. And maybe this was here the whole time. I don't remember it, but overall the track is, I mean, it's not worse. It's not like they made it worse. If anything, it's the same or a tiny bit better, but I don't notice too much of a difference on this one. So we're going to jump on over to the next one. Well, I don't even know. My phone went dark, so I can't see it. So whatever that one is. All right, guys. Here we are at Tip Butte. Start is right there. 9 changes. Let's see. I was on the track. It just doesn't feel as if there's too many changes on this one. I mean, I'm sure there is, but it just feels kind of subtle. It's not like I notice it too much. Now, I haven't been on this track a ton. I should be probably missing some stuff. This feels different. I don't remember that being a triple and then doubling out to here. That feels definitely new. And I mean, maybe that is a bit different too, but it's a really, really, really tiny change. This feels different too because it's a really steep landing. I don't remember that. Now, some of you guys that played a lot of the Nationals will know better than me. This is very similar. Ooh. You could take the inside, although I feel like there was a jump here before. Did they take that out? Pretty sure they took that out in favor of putting in that jump there. Let me know in the comments if you guys know. I'm not looking at the picture, but I'm pretty sure that was different. This feels a little bit different. That might have been readjusted. This is the same. And pretty much everything to the end here is the same. I'd say this one I noticed more than Stingray Shore. But still, it's not like a huge night and day difference. Some of these tracks so far I feel like have been kind of a night and day difference. This one, more similar to Stingray Shore, but again, definitely an improvement. It's just not like huge changes, huge differences. And I suppose because the overall layout of this and Stingray Shore are kind of similar, and they weren't too bad to begin with. So, excuse me. So, yeah, it's definitely better, but, you know, not just really subtle changes. So we're going to jump on over into Turtle Bay. All right, guys, so here we are at Turtle Bay. The start straight is there behind us, and I believe there is 8 or 9 changes here. Now, I did run a lap on it already. There are changes, but really, really hard to notice some of them. I mean, this was always kind of rough here. The dirt texture seems a bit different. So this is the section that I felt like is different. I don't remember having to jump through that. This is very similar. I mean, again, I think they took some off of the face of that. This is a bit different, maybe. I mean, it was always a jump like that, but feels a little different. And then, I don't know, man. Everything else here feels very, 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 very similar. I don't believe it made the track worse. But, I don't know, man. I don't really notice too much. It had like 9 changes to it. And some of that might have been the corners a bit. I mean, I think there was a smaller double in front of that they might have taken out. And then this is all pretty much the same. Pretty much the same. So Turtle Bay has some very small differences again. I don't feel like it made the track worse, but I don't see a huge improvement. I mean, some, but I feel like there was definitely more improvements on some of the earlier tracks than what we see here. So it is improved, but very, very soft changes to it. All right, guys, so here we have the final track. This is Iron Hill National. Start straight right there. And let's check it out. Ooh. Probably could get that if you had a run. Look at the dirt clods. Just the texture of the dirt is different. Now, this is a very short, easy national race, but... Ooh, that really grabbed us. The track, it looks so different. This is very similar, but this track feels different. I mean, even if they didn't really change any of the jumps, just the texture of the dirt and that rhythm section we hit right away feels different. It's so much more rough. It feels more like a national now. And that's without riding on it, having the terrain deformation coming in. Look at this corner right here. Oh yeah, whoa, over jump. I don't know. Look at this, you can see like the dirt clods here. Really, really good job. I mean, kind of subtle changes, but more so than some of the other tracks we saw. I mean, this rhythm section feels a bit different. Look how chopped out and rough it is in front of us there. They did a much better job on this track. Even if it is an easier track, it does feel more like an outdoor track now. I didn't cover Coconut Beach because we did that track in our last All Out video where we were testing the chassis, so you can go see that if you want to see the changes there. But yes, overall, I feel like every track is improved. Some more than others. Some kind of feel the way they always did, but for the most part, definitely improves it. And if you haven't checked out the Nationals and you have the game, go check them out because they're definitely more fun to play on. So you guys and girls are absolutely amazing. Thank you so much for the support on the channel lately. It really does mean a lot. And until the next video, take it easy.